I love the Back to the Future movies. The idea of hopping in a time machine, and it wouldn't even have to be a DeLorean, is something that many of us daydream about from time to time. To be able to go back and see what life was really like in a different period of human history. Unfortunately, Doc Brown is not around to generate his 1.21 gigawatts of electricity. If we want to know what life was like in the ancient world, we have to figure it out without his flux capacitor. But we don't have video footage, audio recordings, or living eyewitness accounts to tell us about life in antiquity. What's a historian to do? Well, for better or worse, we do have to rely on what people left behind. Things like ancient architecture, the contents of an excavated building, and preserved art can tell us an awful lot about who people were and what they were like. The problem with these types of remains is that they do often require a great deal of interpretation, and it is difficult to get at specific details of people's lives based solely on this type of evidence. That's where ancient writing comes in. It is much easier to determine specific things about the ancient world through texts that people left behind. Of course, even documents need to be interpreted, and it's not always possible to understand what a particular piece of ancient writing means or what it was used for. However, it is one of the best sources that we have to understand what life was like in the ancient world. Unfortunately, writing in the ancient world was often composed on perishable materials. In places like Egypt, Greece, and Rome, parchment and papyrus were regularly used and only rarely preserved. But take heart! The earliest writing, which comes from the ancient Near East, was very frequently composed on clay tablets, stone monuments, and other materials that were preserved in the ground, awaiting the spade of the archaeologist. Not only did these clay tablets survive for thousands of years, but they represent a wide variety of genres, including those that were used in everyday life. These include economic texts, royal building dedications, accounts of military campaigns, transactions of government business, pieces of literature, scientific texts, liturgies, letters, and legal texts, just to name a few. A prominent historian of the ancient Near East, Marc Van de Mieroop, has described it this way: "The ancient Near East provides the first cultures in human history in which true and detailed historical research can take place." While we can't explore the past by reaching 88 miles per hour, in this video series, we will attempt to bring to life this fascinating period in human history using these texts about everyday life that were written thousands of years ago. Come along for the ride.